Welcome to the Unwrapping, where a rapper unwraps rappers rapping. Today I'll be unwrapping the new single Bang by Conway The Machine featuring Eminem off his new album God Don't Make Mistakes. For those that don't know, Conway The Machine is an MC from Buffalo, New York and was co-signed to Shady Records in 2017. He's worked with the likes of Busta Rhymes, Royce da 5'9", The Alchemist and Raekwon, just to name a few. Now, Eminem's feature on this track would mark his third feature of this year. He previously appeared with Logic on Homicide, and more recently, he jumped on Ed Sheeran's Remember the Name with 50 Cent. Now, Conway's 24-bar braggadocious verse comes in with some heat. His voice carries the punchlines with a full effect, rhyming multi-syllable words with a flawless delivery. His flow is pretty much the same and sits in the pocket of the beat and doesn't make much effort to switch it up. It kind of gets repetitive, and for a 24-bar verse, I think you need to definitely switch up the flows or even his voice when giving those deliveries. Like, the punchlines were there, but I think it just lacked a little bit of creativity. His rhyme schemes are pretty much the same throughout as well, setting up each line for a multi-syllable kicker. I've highlighted his rhyme schemes, and as you can see, his verse is heavily coloured using heaps of different types of syllables and rhymes. However, it's obviously lacking a lot of internal work, as most of his rhymes are at the end of each bar, giving those punchlines a bit of a kicker. But still, overall, it's a great verse, good solid verse from the Buffalo native, and definitely keen to hear more from him. I've got a rating score which is broken down into 10 categories. Each category has 10 points available, and obviously 10 being great, 1 being not so great, and I combine those 10 categories to give a score out of 100. So for voice, which is the first category, I've given an 8 out of 10 because I think he has like a solid voice for this sort of song with that 90s kind of boom bap feel. The flow, I've given it a 4 out of 10 just because I think it sort of lacked a little bit of creativity and he could have switched it up a little bit more. Lyrical ability, 6 out of 10. Content, 6 out of 10. Punchline, 8 out of 10. Now this is where Conway really is in his own. I feel like this is his lane. I feel like this is why he got signed with Shady Records in the first place, is his great ability to hit those punchlines hard. Complexity, 6 out of 10. Innovation, 4 out of 10. Now, innovation, I feel like it's been done before. I feel like this is the same old school's 90s hip hop song that you've heard like a million times, so I've given a low score for that. Cadence, I like the sound, it sounded great, so I'm going to give that a 6 out of 10. Style, 6 out of 10. It sounded like him. He doesn't sound like anyone else to me. Anytime you're on a song with Eminem, you've got to bring your A game, especially with those punchlines. And overall sound, I've given him a 7 out of 10 to bring the total score of the verse, Conway on Bang, to 60 out of 100. Now, when I came to the hook of the song, I was a little bit disappointed actually, because it sounded kind of messy. It wasn't really memorable. And I think if Eminem sort of got in there somehow as well, maybe giving that extra audio in the background, it could have given a bit more of a heavy feel, but it was a little bit lackluster in my opinion. But yeah, let's get into Eminem's verse. So Eminem's 40-bar verse starts off with some rather simple nonsense lines, but then quickly diverts straight into dissing Cannabis, one of Eminem's old foes, you could say. It kind of goes into dissing him, complimenting him, then back to dissing him again, and quite a well-delivered, pretty simple rhyme scheme, but then turns to Ja Rule, and then reminisces how they used to play pool back in 01, and then corrects himself, maybe it was 02, but can't remember because he was obviously on drugs back then. And he's all this is done with quite a simple rhyme scheme and not much complexity to it. But as the verse continues, around the 16 bar mark, he really starts to pick it up and starts speeding up a little bit too, using some pretty good rhyme schemes, but also picking up actual ideas and using metaphors rather than just saying stuff. There's some sort of, not really a sneak diss, but I feel like a back and forth that has been going on for a while between Nicki Minaj and Eminem. It's just sort of going back and forth, not really saying anything too nasty or anything, just maybe in a way joking, it could be. And at the end of that sort of 4-bar set, the beat actually changes up, and obviously with the beat changing up, Eminem's flow becomes a little bit quicker, and but still keeps his rhymes relatively short and sharp, and not really that choppy flow, but keeping them flowing quite nicely. And at the end of that, the beat change up, he starts to diss Charlemagne the God again. Charlemagne is the breakfast of the well-known radio show The Breakfast Club, and this is actually the third time Eminem's dissed Charlemagne in the last year and a bit, I guess after the comments he made about Kamikaze and Revival. And then that basically sums up the 40 bar verse from Eminem. For then this song just to stop abruptly, which I kind of thought was kind of strange. I mean, I know I said the hook wasn't that great, but I feel like it could have done with the hook just at the end. Like, it's quite strange that the hook just finished up and didn't really come with anything. It sounded really unfinished, and I think that was a big downfall of the song as well. But overall, I've given voice 6 out of 10 from Eminem, flow 5 out of 10, lyrical ability 8 out of 10, content 7 out of 10, punchline 7 out of 10, complexity 8 out of 10. See, it is a 40 bar verse, and I feel like he does switch it up quite a bit. He doesn't keep to the same flow. He really switches it up, even if it wasn't always the best switch ups, but I feel like they were strong. And especially that last bit where the beat does switch up, I feel like he comes in really hard on that one, which is great. Innovation 5 out of 10, cadence 5 out of 10, style 5 out of 10, and overall 6 out of 10 from Eminem. To give a finished score, 62 out of 100. I will be listening to the rest of Conway's album, because based on the song I feel like he's got a lot to give, and I think the collaboration with Eminem was a great fit for an opening single. And yeah, if you like this video, like, subscribe, and I'll be in with another one soon.